This presentation is going to be on Payentry time management, a quick overview, as well as the top 10 questions we receive in customer service. So first off, timekeeping is not optional. So the federal and state government tell us that employers must track and keep record of all of their hourly employees' time. And you must keep and maintain these records for all active and terminated employees for a length of 3 years. So if you have to store all of that information and you're using Excel or perhaps paper timesheets, those are either going to take up physical space in a filing cabinet or they're going to take up space on your hard drive. And then if you have to locate one of these records, it's going to take a valuable time to dig through, 3 years worth of time information to get a time card for a previous employee. This presentation is going to be on Payentry time management, a quick overview, as well as the top 10 questions we receive in customer service. First off, timekeeping is not optional. Federal and state government require employers to track and keep a record of all hourly employees' time, and then you must keep and maintain these records for all active and terminated employees for 3 years. So if you have to store all of this information and you are using maybe Excel or a paper timesheet, that's going to take up physical space either in a filing cabinet or on your hard drive. And then if you have to locate one of those records, it's going to take valuable time to either dig through paper timesheets or go through Excel spreadsheets to try to find the exact time card that you might be looking for. So by keeping your information in an online timekeeping system, it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So question number 1, what options do you have to track my time? At HR1, we have a lot of different options to track your employees' time. We have physical time clocks, which are going to include a biometric clock where your employees would use their fingerprint. We have a scan card clock where employees have a physical card with a magnetic strip that they would swipe on the card to punch in and out. And we also have a proximity clock where it's a physical card that they would wave over the machine to punch them in and out. These physical time clocks do have an additional cost for the piece of hardware. Our other options are all included in the price of your payroll, so there's no additional fees. Laptop and tablet options would be the internet-enabled devices. So if you were able to log on to the internet, your employees would be given a username and password to log in, to punch their time, and also view their specific information. And then we also have a mobile app, which is for Android and Apple products. So your employees could download the app onto their phone and punch in and out. It's a great option if you have remote employees. Or employees that are out in the field, they can also punch in and out even if they don't have access to a computer or the physical time clock. All 3 of these options can be used in conjunction with one another, or you can use just one. So it's completely up to you. They are interchangeable and work together seamlessly. Question number 2, why should I track my time with Payentry time management? I would say that this time card right here is the reason why you should be tracking your time. First of all, it has everything that you need required by law to track and store your employees' time. I've got their name, their pay period start and pay period end date, as well as a running total of all of their hours for that week and the different pay types. These are all requirements by law that you must have on an employee's time card to be in compliance. So if you need to find a past employee's time card, you would just simply type in their name, their time cards would pop up and you would have access to it really, really quickly. You're also minimizing keystroke errors by having your time stored this way. So it's, all of this information, all of these hours would be sent electronically into our pay system so that you wouldn't have to do any kind of keystroke adding of hours. So this is going to also minimize errors, minimize frustration and cost for your company. One of the new enhancements is the 3 levels of approvals that are now available on time cards. So you can see we have employee, supervisor, and administrator approval levels. You can have all 3 of these on your time card. You can just choose to have 2 levels of approval, or you could just have 1. Completely up to you. Again, you can customize it for your company's requirements. And you can see that I have the approval message down here that I've customized. Again, that's totally up to you, and you can use it or not use it, and you can add a personalized message. So if we're going to use these features, we are going to go up to the policy tab right here, and we would go to time card rules. And you can see right here in the time card approval settings, I have my 3 levels of approvals. They're going to be enabled or disabled by selecting it off of this drop-down menu. And then right here, you can see where I put in my customized message if you would like one of those. Question number 3 is, if my employees are punching in and out using the internet or a mobile app, how do I know if they're punching in from work and not from home? And this is a great question. So right below the time card approval settings, we have the IP address restrictions. If you enable this and add the IP address associated with the locations you want your employees to be punching in and out from, and they try to punch in and out from, say, the drive-through at a Dunkin' Donuts, or they just got out of bed and they realize they're going to be late, when they try to punch in, they are going to receive one of these error messages. This would be the error message for the mobile app. And then over here to the right would be what they would see if they're punching in and out from a laptop or a tablet. They are not going to be able to punch in from anywhere except for where you have specified. Question number 4, what options do I have for rounding my employees' punches? So for this question, we're going to go back to the policy tab, but we're going to go into rounding rules. You now have the ability to round on all punch types, so in, out, and meal punches. And you have several options depending upon how you want to do it. You would enable or disable it from this drop-down, and again, you can, lots of different options. So if you want to round for a specified increment of time, so for this example, if they clocked in at 7:57, the clock is going to round their time to 8 o'clock. If they clocked in at 8:03, it's going to round them back to 8 o'clock. You can also choose different, there's also different increments of time in here that are preset. If you want to do something custom, again, you would just click on the drop down and click on the custom option, and you can add whatever you would like. So for this example, we are rounding to the 10-minute with a 4-minute grace period. So lots of options. You could set it up exactly how you want. Question number 5, can I track my employee time off through this system? And the answer is yes. Your employees can view, request, and also see a calendar of time for the company. So this is the view option. Your employee can see that they have got 40 hours of paid time off. This is the request section. There is a calendar here. They can select a single day, multiple days, whatever they would like. There's also a comment section. They can add a comment to their supervisor to tell them maybe you're only taking a half day, or you have a doctor's appointment. If there's any information you want to give to your supervisor about this particular request, you can add it there. And then we have a calendar viewing option. So you can set it so that employees can just see their personal calendar. They can see a calendar for the department that they're in, or they can see a company-wide calendar to see when everyone is off. We use this at HR1 to see when other employees are going to be in or out. If we need to make an appointment with them, we can go in and see if they're going to be available that day. Some of the new enhancements for the time off are going to be on the policy tab under time off rules. One of the newest features is the ability to add blackout dates. So here I've added September 14th as a blackout date, which means that none of my employees can request that day off. You can add as many blackout dates as you'd like. Another enhancement is to change the default request hours. The system defaults to 8 hours. If you work anything different than an 8-hour day, maybe a 7.5-hour day, and you want the system to default to that number, that is where you would add that. So I'm going to default to a 7.5-hour workday with my September 14th blackout date. So now let's go in and request some time off. So for my employee request screen, as you can see, September 14th is grayed out, so they do not have the ability to request time off on that day. And then when I go to take a day off, as you can see, it defaults to 7.5 hours. So that is how you would make those changes. Question number 6. Can the system send email reminders? And the answer to that is yes. That is going to be found on the admin tab under email settings. This is a list of the available email notifications that are in the system. You can also create email requests if you would like by using the menu bar down here. If you want to turn on one of these, as you can see, none of these are active, but if I wanted to turn one on, I would simply highlight it and click the checkbox, and now that email reminder is activated. So that would be to email my supervisors when time off request is added. You can also send an email to your supervisors for time card approval, or if there are specific infractions that you want to make sure your supervisors are aware of. You would just simply go to edit email, and I can set up a time. I can have it recur on a specific day, and any time of reoccurrence pattern, you can set that up, and email will be sent to your supervisors to remind them of either infractions or to approve their time off. Question 7, what about security setting options? Can I limit what people can see? And yes, the system will allow you to customize what each group of people or each individual can see when they log into the system. So as an example, this particular supervisor is responsible for these 2 employees. What that means is when this person logs in, those are the time cards that are going to be available in their view to approve. Or when these 2 employees make time off requests, their requests are going to be emailed to the supervisor for approval. If you need to add an employee to this list, you would simply just start typing their name in the box here and click add. And now, as you can see, my supervisor now has 3 people that they are responsible for. Another way that you can set supervisor access is to do the department access. So for this example, my supervisor is responsible for everyone in the marketing department. I add marketing from the drop-down, I click add, and now everyone that is linked to this marketing department will fall under this particular supervisor. You can also go under security roles, and you can see the different roles that are defaulted in the system, but you can also add specific roles if you have something else, an HR administrator or an HR director, CEO, CFO. If you have different people, different roles that you want to add in here, you have the ability to do that. So if you select a role, you can see everything that this role has access to is going to be listed in this box. If I want to remove a setting, I would just highlight it and click remove. If I want to add a setting, I would click on this drop down. It's going up, but then I can scroll through all of the available options, highlight it, and click add to add that privilege to that role. So you can add and remove any items that you would like. Question number 8, is sending my time to payroll truly seamless? And the answer to that question is yes. The 2 programs are fully integrated. You would go into the Payroll tab and select Payroll Processing. And now I can see my pay groups here. I've got my exact pay, my salary, and my quarter round. You're going to click on the box for all of your pay groups, and then you're going to click Send Hours to Payroll. System is then going to go through a process to let you know if you missed anything or need to check on anything before we send these hours to payroll. So I've got some unapproved time off requests and some unapproved time cards. If I click on error details, it's going to tell me exactly which employees I need to go to correct that information. Once I've corrected it, I'm going to send my hours to payroll. It's going to let me know when that process has been done. And then I'm going to go over to Next Gen into my payroll, either start my payroll or enter wages, depending upon where you are in the process. You're going to come right up here to this time import button. You can see here, big green import button. You're going to click that import. And there you go. Your time clock import completed successfully. So what that means is that all of those hours on all of those time cards, all of those different pay types, everything is now in Payroll, ready to go. I would now go back to batches. And all of that information is in there for you. You can also click on batch controls. This is going to show you everything that is now in your batch, so I can double check these numbers against what's in the time system to make sure that all my hours came over correctly. Question number 9. Once I send my hours to Payroll, can I make changes? And yes, you can. Just because you've exported the information out of the clock does not mean that you cannot edit, adjust, or change your information. You would simply go back into your payroll batches and enter payroll wages. And you can go into any of these fields and change. So maybe the hours, you found out, oh, they only had 32 hours. You can simply double click in here and change that information. So just because you've exported does not mean that the information cannot be changed. Question number 10, do you have a user guide? And the question to that is, or the answer to that is yes. Right up here in the right-hand corner, this little tiny button says help. If you click that help button, you're going to be taken to our online user guide. And as you can see, we've got all of our products over here that you can come in and find information about. You can also contact customer service. We always, want to be your first line of defense. But if you wanted to come up here, all of the enhancements that I've spoken about today are listed up here if you wanted to get some more information. But this is available to you online and is kept up to date all the time with any new enhancements that come out. So that will conclude today's presentation on Payentry Time Management. If you have any questions, please make sure to contact your customer service rep. Thank you.